And we talked to our guys about just the ability that tempo gives you, the ability to take a big, strong guy and drag him to the deep end of the pool and drown them. Wow. That's what tempo does. Wow. And once you get them believing that, once you get your big O lineman saying, we got to go faster, we got to go faster, you got them. So I'm a huge believer in just tempo.
Hey, coaches, thanks for joining us today. So excited to have Coach Joe Salas.
Joe Salas, I'm a head football coach at Hopton High School in North Carolina. I run I have an air raid channel, Coach Joe Salas on YouTube, and I've been running air raid for probably 20 years. I was came up under Hal Mummy. I was a G at Valdosta State back in the day when Dana Holgerson was on staff and Mike Leach was on staff. So I was there with all the Mount Rushmore of air raid guys, and I'm not as smart as them, but I've been doing it a long time, so I've learned a couple things.
Oh, that's so cool, and it's so nice to have somebody that came from that background to be talking to us middle school guys. I want you guys out there in TV land to understand what a treat it is for me, but what an advantage is for all of us youth and middle school coaches to have this high level breakdown from coaches that have been doing it for decades. I could only teach you so much. I haven't been doing it that long, but these guys understand the difference between high school and middle school, understand what we're trying to accomplish down here, and they're willing to give us their knowledge. So again, Coach, thank you so much for being so open to doing this.
Well, and I want to tell you, I've said this a bunch of times every time I talk to you, but I've been on this kick. It was because I met you, just exposing this to the rec coaches and middle school coaches, because I just think it's going to be the difference maker for us as far as getting numbers out like they used to be. And, we just got to get middle school and rec ball coaches comfortable throwing the ball around, because the kids can do it and the kids want to do it. And it's just the key to getting the numbers back up. So I appreciate everything you do. And I go to your round tables and then go interview all the guys at your round table, because I just think it's the new frontier for football. Is once we get those guys throwing the football, good things are going to happen for football.
100%, Coach. And we appreciate you coming there. I didn't, you surprised me on the first one. After that, I was just so ecstatic that you continue to come. So thank you for that. And when he's saying that to me, guys, he's actually saying that to everyone out there, because the more you guys continue to educate yourself on this and implement these passing concepts and spread the love. And I appreciate all you guys sharing and getting all of our subscriber counts up, because the more we can spread this around and comment and share and like on all the different platforms, the more exposure there will be, and it'll just organically grow. And hopefully we can have more and more coaches like Coach Salas said, throw the ball around.
I talked to a guy today. He was a middle school coach in Charlotte, North Carolina. And the last 2 seasons, this year and the year before, he had over 100 kids come out and try out for football. Nice. And it's because he slings it around. I mean, just crazy throws it around. And it's gotten the basketball kids out, and it's got the numbers out. And, Charlotte's a very high talent area anyway. But, once he started throwing the ball, they just he's got too many of them coming out. So I think that it could be that way for everybody if we really start throwing it around.
Oh, very cool. I need to catch up with that guy too. That's awesome. That sounds great. And I think that proves the point even more so. So yes, that's a great case study, and let's continue to try to find more, Coach. That's awesome.
Yeah, all right. I'm excited.
Okay, cool. So the reason I brought Coach Joe Salas on specifically today, and I'm going to take as much time as I can possibly take out of his life for the next few months before we hit the season. But this particular one I'm so excited about, because he's agreed to kind of unlock his brain for us. Okay. He's going to show some real live game situations, a handful of drives, and he's just going to talk through his mindset and his thought process behind it in real time, which to me is more valuable than getting his playbooks. It's more valuable than hearing him, talk about in theory what he does. We know he's successful. We know he has turned around multiple programs, not just with the X's and O's, but with the leadership qualities as well. But this is going to give us, and I'm excited about it. I would do this just on my own, but I wanted to share with you guys. This will give us a real inside view of what a high-level air raid coach thinks and does during a game. So I don't think there's any replacement for that. So thanks for doing that, Coach. Really excited about this.
Well, I'm just afraid you're going to be disappointed when you get inside my brain, but we'll show you the clips anyway, and I'll tell you what I was thinking.
Awesome. Well, thank you. But before we do that, Coach, I'm going to ask you a couple air raid questions. I continue to get the same questions from my audience, and they really want me to ask you high-level coaches a few things just to rattle off, because as we talked about earlier, and I talked about this with Coach Knapp yesterday, I think everyone in this audience is starting to understand what the air raid's all about, throwing short to your playmakers and then throwing deep to the same guys when they take that away. But there's a few things that every air raid coach can do a little differently. There's a little gray area for some spots. So I'd love to just rattle off a handful of those, and then we can get into the film, if that's cool.
Yep, let's shoot.
Awesome. So number one, first one seems to always be a question: swing or shoot for your running back.
I'm a swing guy, but I don't have any ill feelings towards the shoot guys. I know why they do it. They're getting the ball, they're getting the route out there faster.
Mm-hmm.
So they're attacking the perimeter a little faster than the swing does. I've just always been more comfortable with the swing, and just felt like my guys were more comfortable when they caught the ball, they're facing the defense instead of having their back to the defense. So they're able to do something with it once they get the ball. But, almost all air raid stuff, either way you do it, you're fine. But that's, I think we were talking about the how you read the mesh. It doesn't matter. However you read it that way. So whether you shoot or swing, they're both good, but I'm a swing guy.
Man, I got to add that one into this questionnaire too. Is the mesh second or third read? But thank you for that. I agree with the swing part wholeheartedly. We tried to test out both early in the season last year, and the shoot just felt awkward to the kids. And the swing for me as an ex running back, it makes me a little anxious to have my back to the defender. So I'd love catching the ball and seeing the field. But yeah, that's a great point, Coach. So thank you for that. I love that.
And we do it with, I always put a kid like 5 yards from me and say, if I had this ball and you were 5 yards from me, I could get some yards. But if I caught this ball and you were standing right next to me, you're gonna get me. I mean, there's no space. So just that concept of creating a little more space.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have a talented kid, unlike me, if you have a talented kid with that ball in their hands, they can make that first guy move. And I think you'll see some of that, maybe not on the swing, but you'll see a talented back make some people move or miss. And, so that's kind of the speed and space idea, I think.
Yeah, I love that. And especially with youth, I mean, most of our beasts are running backs at this level. So you get him that ball with the outside linebacker or a corner, it's just in front of him one-on-one. In youth, you should have the best athlete in that scenario. Do you do any push motion? I really want to start playing with it. I did a little bit last year just to get him outside of the D end, or just to get like that outside linebacker to try to give away what he's doing a little bit. You guys use push motion at all?
Yeah, we played with it. We liked it on the salt and pepper RPO, which is just a swing RPO. We played around with it. It worked really good in practice, but we did a little bit in the game, and we liked it. I mean, you're just stressing the perimeter right now, and you're forcing their hand on is someone going to go with him or not. So I thought it was a great deal. We didn't do the other way. I can't even remember what we called it. We called, when you went same side, it was push.
Yeah.
I can't remember what we called it when you went across. We did that in practice a lot in competition periods, but I don't think we did it in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it. I think it's a good little deal. And it doesn't get free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Exactly. And it just might help a little bit. All right, cool. What about backside a quick game? Do you have any specific rules backside?
We on most of the, if it's not mirrored, the backside for us is 2 hitches, and it's always a pre-snap. And my kid last year didn't really like the pre-snap stuff, but I got a little quarterback coming up this year who loves pre-snap. sometimes he'll throw the pre-snap side so much that I'll question him sometimes. Like, do you know what side this play is supposed to be on? And he'll say, yeah, but I was taking a pre-snap. So I got one who loves pre-snap, but to me, it's one of those gimmies. If they're giving it to you, why wouldn't you take it?
All day. And I keep trying to tell these coaches, like, don't feel bad for taking free yards. If they're going to give it to you, that's fine.
Especially if you got a stud. I mean, a hitch is one missed tackle away from a huge play.
Absolutely.
So I'm hitch.
All day. Okay, cool. Run plays. I know what they are, but you tell the audience what you do for run plays.
R4 are counters are a big one. Power's a big one. And this year will be outside zones has been not as big as it should have been. It should be a gimme. And when I did cut-ups during spring ball, we did a virtual spring practice, and I was kicking myself for not calling it more because it's such a gimme. And then we're going inside the tight inside zone as our fourth play this year, just because it fits off of our play action stuff pretty good.
Awesome. Beauty. And then let's see. Last one, favorite red zone play. Give these coaches some money to use.
We go to a sort of a power set and run we like a crazy, like an exotic formation, and run power when we get close, when it's slap your mama time. We nothing beats the snag route with the corner behind it, and then we like mesh down there. I mean, like everyone, all air raid guys, they take your card if you don't say mesh down at the goal line. So
yeah, that's what Knapp said yesterday was mesh. I love corner. I don't think, especially with us with single high safety, even in the red zone, they stay in single high safety most of the time. So I didn't like corner is just it's a no brainer for me. So love it that we're aligned on that.
When they, if they're manning you down there, which a lot of people do, that corner, the snag's just a gimme. I mean, it's just, so.
Yeah. Love it.
You've seen what we see down there.
Absolutely. All right, cool. Well, let's do it, Coach. Let's get into it.
All right. Let me set this game up first. This is one of our biggest rivals, and this is a good friend of mine. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, he lost his dog, his main dude. He lost right before this game. So offensively, he didn't have the horsepower that he normally had, which you're not going to see any of their offense. But this is a wing T team versus an air raid team, and they're much more talented than we are. And that's the reason they do what they're fixing to do here. But we knew they were going to come out because they had the talent advantage. We knew they were going to come out in man coverage. So that was our whole thought process leading into it, was we were going to make them pay for man coverage. So, and then the side story, the side story was, we had just come off of a 4-game losing streak. This kid had been hurt, and the Z on the other side had been hurt, and our running back had been hurt. So we had all these kids hurt, and our kids all got healthy for this game, and he lost his big dog running back. So that's big game of the year. And matter of fact, I think it might have been senior night, but here's what we got. So we know that they're going to be in man coverage, and here you see it. They're zero coverage. This kid's first game back, he went out, broke his collarbone, second game of the year. So this is his first game back, and we're expecting zero coverage. And unlike a lot of people, I think zero coverage is a terrible idea. I think if I know defensive guys say, well, if I'm more talented than you, I'm going to lock you up and keep too many in the box, because everyone was worried about our run game, and you'll see that a lot. But my thought process is, if you're more talented, then you should play something boring on defense and just run and tackle their guys and beat them up all night. don't give them a chance for this kind of stuff to happen. So this is first play of the game, and we're running it's slot 95.
And coach, when you use the number system, can you call the concept too? I haven't really taught these guys the numbering system.
Okay, so slot 95 is Y cross, but we've tagged, and he's run his normal route, but we've told him it's 95, and we've said go ahead, throw X.
First play of the game.
First play of the game.
Yeah, baby. You took it to the house on the first play. That's how you started off, Coach.
That's a good way to start it, but it was simply because we knew ahead of time that because they were more athletic than us, we knew that they were going to come out and play man and press man on us, and at least for last year, I can't say more than that, but at least for last year, we were undefeated against teams that played man coverage. That it's just our kids with the air raid practices. We just practice those. We practice release drills every day. We practice that catch every day. That was an outside shoulder catch for a touchdown, even though it was on a skinny post. It was still an outside shoulder catch. So we feel like we've got the reps on our side. All right, so this is second play of the game.
Coach, real quick, sorry, just one question.
All right.
I saw that was an inside release because that was a post. Did you guys not, when it's man like that, are you just trying to get the best release, or are you trying to?
Our general rule is if it's an inside break, we want to take an inside release. Now, okay. Obviously, there's times when you're going to break that rule, but that's our general rule is inside break, inside release.
Gotcha. Love it.
And it wasn't the prettiest release, to be honest with you.
I mean, he got it.
He should get got a little foot fire.
He's already got separation.
Well, he got separation, and be honest with you, that corner's a lot faster than he is. He was just better at running that route right there. So second play of the game, and believe it or not, we start out, we do that play, first play, then we kick off, and they run it back for a touchdown. So we're 7-7 right here, right out the gate. All right, this is it doesn't list the formation, but this is what we call trio. So this is trio right, and we call this 96 corner. So all we did is we brought this guy down closer so that he could run a corner out of 96. So again, even though you see they backed up a little bit here, they got two safeties, but this safety is not going to help him on a corner route. So 96 corner, you see he's cheating down as far as he can get. Mm-hmm. And the deal was if that guy would keep following him, he was going to keep getting closer. So you see outside release that time, and I think that was a 25-yard gain.
Beauty.
All right. So same thing. We've now gone no huddle. They're still in man coverage. They're back on their heels a little bit because they thought they were going to beat us up. So trio left 96 corner. So we're doing the same thing to the other side, and you see he's even inside the hash. He has come down because this guy's playing man coverage. Can you see my cursor?
Oh yeah.
All right. Because he's playing man coverage. Heck, look at all this grass out here. Air raid guys love grass. So this is 96 corner, same play, other side.
Just isolating that guy out there. I love it.
Isolating.
Love it. Man,
and this kid, this is our most talented receiver, but he has a tendency to pin himself inside. And he tried right here. I think he was just trying to give the extra head fake, but he almost pinned himself inside. But same exact play, and that was a 41-yard gain.
Baby.
So now we're down on the goal line, and they're still man coverage, and we just run the counter right here. And at this point, they're reeling pretty good. All right, so this is actually the third series of the game. And now we've come out, and we're going to basically smash mouth pretty good here. So what I want to do is,
now, why do you come out with that mentality, Coach?
We just felt like, well, it's one of those deals. I guess I get a little bit of a wing T mentality as far as we're going to come out and, counter's our bread and butter, and we're going to come out and run counter. And if you can't stop it, you're going to see it over and over and over and over and over again. And that's what happens here. And, I say wing T mentality because I used to play some wing T guys, and they would come out at the beginning of the game and they would run every single wing T play they had
to see which one it would work.
And then whatever one worked, they'd run that one the rest of the night. And that's how they called the game. I know they're pretty good at looking at your techniques on the line and decide, but it felt like they were going to come out and they were going to run everything. And then the one that worked, that was the one you're going to see over and over. Well, with us, this was our bread and butter play. And you see, this is, we just came out through 3 passes in a row and then ran the counter in from like the 3-yard line. I don't know what we were on there. All right. So this is our first counter in the open field. This is the beginning of the 4th series. And it goes for 11 yards.
5-man box. Love it.
My thought process is, well, let's line up and run the exact same play again as fast as we can.
Love it. Can I ask you a question about counter, Coach?
Yeah.
When I was transitioning out of the De La Salle running game, I kept getting these coaches that say, "Well, you got to set GT up. You got to set it up. You got to set it up by running this or that, and you can't just come out running GT right out the gate because it needs to be set up." In my mentality is like, if we know how to block it right, why the heck do I need to run 3 plays before that just to make that play look differently or act differently? Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you need to set up counter in any way before you just run it?
No, we're a counter team. We're going to come out running counter. I mean, you've seen us run the ball 3 times now, and all of them were the same play.
Yep.
I mean, it's the counter's who we are. You gotta, and I've said this on a video before that before we found counter, and we did a bunch of different. We back in the day we were an ISO team, and then we went to inside zone before Coach Mummy went to inside zone, and then we went to dart because no matter how good you get at inside zone on varsity, and we went to a state championship game running inside zone. But you cannot run that sucker on JV. I don't care who you are. So then we went to dart because we knew we could run it on JV and on the freshman team. And that first year we were put dart in, we had a 1,000-yard rusher on varsity, JV, and freshman team.
Wow.
Just running dart. That's and we've always been we're going to have our run, the one run that we're going to hang our hat on. We've always been that way. That's 90% of our run's going to be the same play.
Yep.
But then defenses got a little smarter, and then we found counter. And counter was the first time that I felt like we became more of a smash mouth team. That now it used to feel like, and you're going to find this out now that you're getting famous, is that they figure out they all week the defense just draws up fancy blitzes. How they're gonna stop your quick screen, and they're gonna run fancy blitzes at you. And counter changes all that because now, buddy, they better be focused on how they're going to stop the counter.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get it about 30 times. So in this game, this running back goes for over 200, and the quarterback rushes for over 150, and most of it's on counter. So you're about to see it. So what you're seeing now is super fast. They just got caught with an extra guy on the field. Super fast. Running the same play.
Love it.
So it went 11, 7, and 8 yards. Well, probably going to run it again. What do you think? So there's a huge thought process. That one went for 10. So the thought process is, if it's working, we're going to run a dang counter down their throat until they can stop it. This one, now they did a better job on that one, but it still went for 18 yards. have you seen what's been going on? All of those have been counter right. Now we got fancy here and ran the quick screen. I think we got a penalty on it, so we didn't run that one again. So here we go. Now we go quarterback counter, and that was a gain of 19. So you can imagine there's a gain of 8 and a touchdown. So that's four series in a row right there. But for the rest of the night, they get a huge amount of counter. But you see what it happened at. You see what's happened in the secondary. Not only is there no zero coverage, there's no man coverage anymore.
Oh yeah.
But to do this, they're scared to death we're going to drop a bomb on them. So look at the box. What's happened to the box?
5-man box.
5-man box. No wonder we're running it down their throats. It's because they've only got 5 in the box, so they felt like they couldn't do both, and they were more afraid of the pass because we came out and hit 3 big pass plays in a row on them because we knew they were going to be in man coverage. That now they're saying, well, we're still more physical than them, so we're gonna stop them here. But they just can't. You can't stop us with 5 in the box. You really can't stop us with 6 in the box. So rest of the night is a whole bunch of counter. And you see what they're, that's 10 yards. This is a quarterback, goes for 19 yards.
Your quarterback had a ton of yards this year rushing, right?
Yeah, they both ended up, tailback and the quarterback both ended up with 1,500 yards rushing.
Jeez.
So that's the thought process there wasn't real difficult. It was, we came out, we knew they were going to be in man, so we were running man routes that we knew we were going to have success with. And then when they adjusted, then we started running the ball down their throat, and they couldn't stop it, so we just kept doing it. And that's how the rest of the game went. And like I said, this is a buddy of mine, and his dog was hurt on, his main dude on offense was hurt. So this would have been a slobber knocker, all the way to the end of the game if he would have had his guy, because I think it ended up being, for most of the game, it was a back and forth, we'd go up by 2 touchdowns and they'd come back, we'd be up by 1. It was, it's one of those games, even though we were ahead, it wasn't, it never got ugly until the very end.
Right.
That's one of my favorite plays right there. Everyone needs to have that play in.
Oh, baby. Absolutely.
When you're going tempo and you're going super fast, then hit them with the freeze.
Oh, yeah.
It's my favorite.
How do you call that?
It says freeze on the wristband. I mean, we got signals. We got signals to make it happen out of the gas tempo.
Yeah.
But it's on the wristband. A couple different places. Not just one place because we like it so much. So I think we might not have scored yet. I wanted to see if we got in that Kong set for you. All right, there. First 4 series, 4 touchdowns. And it was just a matter of that number one, we felt confident that we knew that they were going to come out in man, and we had things for that because, like I said, we feel comfortable. We were very confident against teams that were playing man on us, and then once they counter adjusted, then they gave up the box, and we felt very comfortable running the ball down their throat. So, I talk about sometimes, we have this 50-50 philosophy, and it's not like a TV commentator where it says we want to throw the ball 25 times and we want to run the ball 25 times. It's not that one. 50-50 philosophy to me means if we come out and you're doing something crazy, you're playing 0 man, then we feel completely confident throwing the ball 50 times that night.
Mm.
But if you come out and you got 4 in the box or 5 in the box, then we feel completely confident running the ball 50 times that night, and we would be just as excited about both. We're just as excited when we're running that ball down their throat. We're fired up, man. And when we're throwing those big rocks over their head, man, we're fired up. If we, every air raid guy, I had a game where we threw it 1 time. I mean, we ran it. We ran the ball one time the entire game, and man, we were fired up. And then last year we had a game where we rushed for over 600 yards, just ran it down their throat. We were fired up. We were ecstatic, you know. So it doesn't matter to us which way it goes. It's just what are they giving us and what's working. So if they're gonna press up, you know, it's still air raid. What do we do? If they're up in our face, what do? We throw it over their head.
Exactly.
If they back up, we either throw it in front of them. If they clear the box, we're gonna run. We're gonna run between the tackles. You know, that's air raid. So and you know, this happened to be a year where we were really good on the ground, and so that's it. So you know, it's no magic in the thought process. There was zero coverage. We were going to throw it. If there were 5 in the box, we're going to run it. You know, it was you know, there's no genius play there. It's just common. You know, it's just what are they giving us, and are we comfortable in either of those scenarios? And we're very comfortable in either scenario.
That's pure gold, Coach. And I love that 50. I've never heard that before. So that 50-50, I'm going to steal that too. But to your point, you know, you said it a couple times. It's not complicated thinking. But I think that's what these coaches need to hear. I mean, I think a lot of us get into these games and we're like, oh, we want to be the offensive coordinator. I want to be Jim Harbaugh or Kingsbury, whatever it is. And we're like going over the top with, if this happens, I'm going to do this, or that. Or if that happens, I'm going to do this, or that. But guys, just like the way we build our playbooks is simple, just like the way we do our practices is simple. This is no different. Don't overthink it, guys. If somebody is giving you free yards, take it. If somebody's giving you a 5-man box, kill it. If somebody wants to press you, have an answer for that. So don't overthink it. I think that's a huge point by one of the best air raid coaches around. Guys, you don't have to go super complicated. Keep it simple, and the kids will execute if you're doing the right things in practice and such.
And you know, it ties into the way we practice. You know, that because we practice, you know, with the air raid philosophy, we should be ready for either one. You know, literally the only innovation we had in that game was when we pulled those outside receivers tight and ran corners with them instead of just running normal fades.
Yep.
That was it. That was our big innovation for the game. Was we knew they were going to go man, so we knew we could screw with them alignment wise. And it's just, I don't know, to me it's just easier to throw a corner than it is a fade. So that was not a whole lot.
One thing about that.
Say again.
Let me ask you one thing about that.
All right.
Why you chose when you get man? Okay, so there was one team, and they gave us fits last year. Actually, the one team that actually made it tough on us, they did come zero coverage, and they would get out there and try to, you know, grab our receivers. We'd get out in a 3-man set, and they'd wrestle them down, and you know, we'd practice releases, and we did okay. But in my mind, I'm like, okay, man, I want to do some crossers. I get into trio and run drive, or kind of start playing games with a few crossing routes with stick. I kind of bring those guys closer together so they're crossing. But you chose to isolate out. You even put the trio to the boundary so you could have all that space to isolate that one receiver out there. Just curious your thought process. When you say, okay, cover 0, it's going to be man, you went right to ISO instead of, you know, like crossing or typical things that I think maybe it's just me, but I think other coaches might go there as well, trying to rub people off and stuff like that.
All those are awesome, and we have all those. I mean, we love rubbing. We got 2 different ways we rub the slants, and you know, we love rubbing. We've got a way we rub the shallow. So you know, all that stuff is awesome. But we were most successful this year with just isolating a receiver on a DB, knowing that our technique was better than his.
Nice.
And throwing verticals and corners and slants. You know, that was our. You know, you didn't get to see rubs in there because we got them out of it so fast. I mean, you saw like that was the first 4 series of the game. And my series 2, they had nothing that looked like man coverage.
No, that corner was 10 yards off.
That went away fast. So we didn't get, you know, we had all kinds of good stuff. We had, you know, we loved the rub. We worked rubs all the time. But and we love them down close. You know, I got a good clip from the playoffs of running a rub for a touchdown, but they got out of it so fast because we were going vertical with it.
Yeah.
And especially again, this is a buddy of mine now, and like I said, I had just come off of having everyone hurt. So I knew how he was feeling. I mean, we talked after the game. I knew that feeling you got when you're going into a big game and you don't have all your dudes. I know. I just come off 4 games of that.
Yep.
And I mean, it was till Wednesday of this game before we knew that number 17, the one who caught the first one, before we knew for sure we had him. And when my AD was talking to me, how's it going to go? I was like, well, if we get Herring back, it was going to go good. If we don't get him back, it's going to go bad. It was that. So I knew the feeling, and we all know that feeling when when you know it's a big game, and you don't have all your dudes. I know when people start throwing deep on us, and I'm thinking on offense, and my D coordinator is doing his best. It gets me. I don't like it. I don't like it when they're taking deep shots on us. Our defense is very vanilla. And we're all about stop the deep ball and stop the run. And, we're kind of the anti-air raid. We don't care. If you're throwing it in front of us, we don't care because nobody dinks and dunks like I do, So I've seen people come out and throw 2 nice hitches. And I'm like, man, if that was me, I'd throw 30 of them. But this guy, he's not going to throw another one. And the third play does something else, even though the hitch was right there. He could have thrown it 30 times. But they don't have the patience to dink and dunk like an air raid team loves to just dink and dunk and, it's happy. We throw a 5-yard hitch, I'm fired up, man. That's a great call. So
heck yeah. Those 5-yard hitches break way more than an ISO play, and it's kind of the same thing, right? Like you can either run into the line with all these people and wait for them to break every once in a while, or you can throw it out one-on-one. I got a much better chance of those little 5-yard hitches to break than someone running into a box full of 8 guys. So that's a huge point that I try to get across to a lot of these coaches. If they're going to give you 5-yard hitches 60 times in a game, you don't have to get cute. Just do it. That's an exaggeration, but to the point, just do it. There's nothing wrong with that.
And that's where, and most people, if they're giving you the hitch, most people's mindset is, oh, we're going to set up the hitch and go. And my mindset is, we're gonna throw that hitch 30 times tonight, and he's going to break the tackle twice, and it's going to turn into a 20, 30-yard game.
Totally.
You're the example you were given, even with that 5-man box. That tailback had to run through 6 people and beat a safety to get to score, but the hitch only has to beat 1 guy, and it's a touchdown. So I'm very pro hitch.
Yeah, offensive coordinator 101, especially for the air raid. Take all the easy grass, easy money, whatever you want to call it. Do not feel bad about it. I've been preaching this to the other coaches in our organization. If you call a play and it works, run, pass, or whatever, just like Coach Salas showed you, do it again and do it again until they stop it.
Yeah, I mean it's not a genius play, but work and keep doing it.
100%.
Man, number one, you got the advantage when they're playing man, taking shots deep, and then man, just keep if it's there, just keep taking it. Hitches, quick screens. I'm one. I will not get bored throwing hitches. I will not get bored throwing quick screens, and I will not get bored running a counter. I mean, I don't care. I mean, we're gonna take what they're giving us until they bleed, and we're gonna go faster and faster. And that's part of the, get you some easy completions, because that builds everyone's confidence. And it allows you to start going faster and faster and faster. And you saw that was 4 series of the game. They couldn't get off the field sometimes. They couldn't get set. How many times we snapped the ball and all their guys weren't set yet? It's because we were going so fast. Because obviously, all our kids were fired up. And, number one, when that kid, when we got the call on Wednesday that kid could play, our confidence shot out the roof. Like I said, we had just lost 4 games in a row and everyone was hurt. So even the quarterback was hurt. He couldn't. We went the game before that. He couldn't run. He could only throw. And if you know our offense, that kid runs all the time.
Yeah.
But he couldn't run. He got hurt, and he couldn't run. He could only throw the football. So we were coming off everyone being hurt, and then we got our guys back, so everyone's excited. And then we start out with completions, and then we just went too fast for them. The game was going faster than they could get lined up, and confidence works both ways. They started losing confidence, and they started getting tired, and those are the things. So confidence equals the ability to go faster and faster and faster. And heck, we both been there. When it ain't working good, it's hard to go fast. It's hard to go fast when things aren't working the way you want them to work. You end up slowing down yourself, and so the easy completions is a big part of going fast.
Right, and it slows the pass rush down. It slows their thinking down. I love that.
If you
go fast.
Well, and if you could have saw their D line looked a lot better than our O line, but the pass rush was non-existent after the second series. They stopped even coming. So and part of it is people get so worried about our quick screens that we played games where they refused to rush. They wanted to stand there and watch and then run to the quick screen. So it gives us the ability to throw it down the field sometimes. And so throw the quick screens, and especially if the D line's more talented than your O line, which is almost always, throw the quick screens, make them run sideline to sideline, get them tired, and then throw it down the field. So there's a little bit there as far as wearing them out.
That's awesome. And so this has turned quickly into an offensive coordinator show, which I love because I think that's the art form, and it's not just calling plays. It's doing things in the right way. Like you said, going short, hitches, quick screens, and playing off of that, and letting them get sick of something, wanting to take it away. Then you could go over the top. So, any other offensive coordinator gems you got for me before we let you go for the weekend?
Well, just that if you can figure out your communication system, I think the young guys can go super fast too. Mm-hmm. But I've talked about before that I think high school ball and now heck, you guys are doing everything we're doing, so now it's all the way down where high school, middle school, rec ball, the ability to go tempo today is like it was back in the day when Oregon started stunning people going fast. That you got the ability, especially with the clocks changing. Now we're on the, what is it? It's not the 25-second clock. Is it the 45-second clock now? Yeah. I mean, we had that for the first time this year, and it was almost like practice. Because you always could go faster in practice than you could in the game. Well, this was the first year you could go just as fast in the game as you could in practice because you didn't have to wait for the whistle every time. And, we talk to our kids all the time because we feel like we're always the underdog. We're never more talented than the other team. We're always the underdog. Mm-hmm. And we talk to our guys about just the ability that tempo gives you the ability to take a big, strong guy and drag him to the deep end of the pool and drown them. Wow. That's what tempo does. Wow. And once you get them believing that, once you get your big O lineman saying, we got to go faster, you got them. So I'm a huge believer in just tempo and having the ability to communicate it both on the, when we're going super fast, we're not using wristbands, we're using one-word calls. But the ability to have those one-word calls and, heck, have 5 plays that you can go super fast with. That's all you'll need. And then drag them into the deep end. How many times, you can take a kid who looks, like he should dominate the game, but they have trouble swimming, man. Yeah. All them muscles they have trouble swimming. You drag them into the deep end, they start calling for mama.
Huge. And let me pick your brain on that real quick. So when you're going regular tempo, and you do go tempo the whole game, it's wristbands. When you want to go super fast, you go to one word, and are you yelling it out, or is it a signal? So you have them memorize 5 core plays, and how do you get that in? for the super fast way?
It's both, but it's mainly yelling. So we have signals for every one of them, but it's mainly where we're yelling, and we got all our offensive coaches yelling it out.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your gas plays are, Texaco means counter, and Exxon means mesh. Whatever your gas plays are, and you can have Petro. Our kids like Petro. But whatever your words are, have them relate to gas somehow, and each one means something, and you just have them memorize it. And and it's a big game at the beginning of the year. We'll catch them anywhere in the school and say, "What Exxon?" And they got to tell us, or they got push-ups, and they might be heading to English class. Oh, coach, but it's in fun, but it gets the idea across, and they memorize them things quick. And one of them, you got a freeze call in there, that we can go Exxon, we can go gas speed and get a freeze call. We can go gas speed and just run the same play again. So there's all different kinds of ways. You can have a gas call where it's 2 plays in a row. So you got all kind. You can get creative with it, but they can handle 5 plays.
Oh yeah,
and that is the fastest tempo. You'll start. We'll run over the referee sometimes. We can go fast.
How often? What percentage of the game do you go that breakneck or gas tempo?
As soon as we start having success, we start going gas tempo, and we'll keep it for the majority of the game until, like, if we would have watched, we probably went real fast for 2 more series in that game we were just watching, and then we slowed it down because, like I said, that guy's a buddy of mine, and and I knew exactly how he felt because
you're a nice guy, coach.
I played the 2 best teams in the conference, and I didn't have my dude, so I knew exactly how he felt. So we slowed it down pretty quick after halftime. That was almost halftime by the time you saw it there, because their drives are, except for the kick return, their drives are real long. And, so they were eating clock up, and they were trying to eat clock up, and that's another. Whenever you play teams that are trying to eat the clock on you, I've only had one team ever be able to do it perfect. Most of the time, they're trying to eat clock. Man, eat it, because I know I'm going to score in about 3 plays.
All I need is about 30. Exactly.
Yeah. So I never worry about. And we started this year. This was the first year. You remember how people would fall down and fake injuries against Oregon? This was the first year people started doing that against.
Oh no!
And we were fired up. We were like, that was like, yeah, they're faking injury, like a compliment to us.
It is.
And it also, and we had, but our kids would say they're in the deep end, coach. It mentally it was helping us because we had sold this idea, that if you got to fake an injury, you're in the deep end, buddy. You better call, the lifeguard better be close because you are in the deep end.
Yep, we're about to go 10 feet. That's awesome, man. That's so cool. I love it. This is just gold for us, coach. So thank you so much for opening up your mind, your film, and your playbook essentially to us. And I think this will really help these coaches really get a sense of what you're kind of thinking about in the game, but even more now that we've kind of broken it out to a full-on OC conversation. Man, this is all just like, I don't know. I should make them pay you $100 for this video, each view, because this is just gold and should be in some webinar somewhere that somebody's selling. So thank you, coach. It's so awesome.
I keep saying you're the most important guy in air raid right now, man. The more you get throwing the ball, the better the game's going to be. And like I said, that guy told me today he had 100 kids in middle school out for football 2 years in a row because he's slinging it everywhere. That's going to happen everywhere, and a lot of it's going to be because of you and what you're doing. So, man, I appreciate you, and anytime I can come on and help, I want to, because I believe in your mission, and I believe it's going to make a dang difference.
Well, good, coach. I'm going to take you up on that offer, especially before we get back into camp and everything. You guys starting practicing?
Open for early We're
okay soon.
saying our prayers and crossing our fingers.
Yeah, perfect. All right, Coach. Well, again, many thank yous. I cannot tell you enough how much I appreciate it, how much our audience appreciates it. They all love you to death. Yeah, hopefully we can get together again soon.
Anytime you want me, let me know. And I'm starting a new series on my YouTube channel. Saturdays, we're calling it Championship Culture, and it's going to be me asking 5 questions to different head coaches. I had Randy Jackson on today, but it'll come out every Saturday on the YouTube channel and as a podcast. So I'm getting excited about that because I want to steal everyone's ideas about culture.
Man, that's such a great idea. I'm so excited that you're going to have a podcast. So I will put everything that you're talking about in the link on my YouTube under this video. If you haven't, for some reason, gone and subscribed to Coach Salas's YouTube, do it. He does great content. He has a ton of content, talks to a ton of different coaches from all over the country. And as you guys can tell, Coach is just all about helping. Innately, I think if he wasn't even a football coach, he'd probably be doing that in some way, shape, or form. So he's a great guy in general, but obviously for us, for our purposes, the guy that's helping all of us youth and middle school guys out and helping us advance this cause. So can't tell you how much I appreciate it, and everybody out there in my audience does too. So, and let's continue to get the word out, spread the ball around, and hopefully get these participation numbers back up to where they belong. Okay. Thank you guys for listening.